A wise sage once declared that no matter how dire circumstances may become on land, the one thing one must never do is venture into the water. For many, this is an unassailable truth, as the ocean has long been renowned as a sanctuary for terrifying creatures, beings that have sparked legends, myths, and enduring nightmares. Yet the seas of today pale in comparison to the oceans of prehistory, particularly during the late Cretaceous period. At that time, Earth's waters were the domain of countless ferocious predators, from sharks that devoured dinosaurs to colossal fish capable of swallowing humans whole, giant crocodiles gliding through the waves, and of course, the mighty Mosasaurus, supreme rulers of the Cretaceous seas, reigning as apex predators across nearly every corner of the planet. Among all the Mosasaurus species that ever existed, the most magnificent and formidable was Mosasaurus. This creature was not only remarkable for its immense size, but also because it was the first of its kind discovered by science, with its initial fossil unearthed over 260 years ago in the Netherlands. The remains included a massive skull, initially mistaken for that of a whale. This misconception was soon replaced by another erroneous belief, that it belonged to a gigantic crocodile. The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community of the time, as it challenged the prevailing notion that no species could ever go extinct, further compounding the confusion surrounding its classification. This uncertainty persisted for over 4 decades until the early 19th century, when new specimens revealed that this was neither a whale nor a crocodile, but a colossal marine lizard, unlike anything previously known. In the same century, the original fossil was meticulously studied and named, with paleontologists christening it Mosasaurus hoffmanni, meaning Hoffman's lizard of the Moose River. Yet, even with a name and classification, Mosasaurus remained misunderstood. Early descriptions portrayed it as a semi-aquatic creature, capable of crawling on land with clawed limbs. It was not until 1854 that this notion was corrected, when scientists noted that its fin bones showed no evidence of muscle or tendon attachments, ruling out any possibility of terrestrial movement. Progress in understanding Mosasaurus continued at a rapid pace, as throughout the remainder of the 19th century and into the early 20th century, numerous new specimens were uncovered, including individuals distinct enough to be recognized as separate Mosasaurus species. To date, 5 species have been identified: Hoffmanni, missouriensis, Conodon, Lemonieri, and Boget, each distinguished by unique sizes, body structures, teeth, and skulls. Moreover, remarkable discoveries were not limited to new Mosasaurus species, but also included related creatures over the years. While not identical enough to be classified as Mosasaurus, these were certainly close relatives, such as the contemporary Tylosaurus. These findings led to the establishment of the Mosasauridae clade, defined as all descendants of the last common ancestor of Mosasaurus, Conosaurs, and Adriosaurus. Within this clade, Mosasaurus belongs to the infamous Mosasauridae family, part of the Squamata order, which includes snakes and lizards. Although most paleontologists agree that Mosasaurus is a squamata, heated debates persist regarding its closest living relative, with some arguing for monitor lizards and others advocating for snakes. While this debate rages on, there is no dispute that Mosasaurus was the largest squamata and the grandest mosasaur to ever roam the seas, a true monster of the deep. In the realm of size, among the 5 recognized species, a typical adult Mosasaurus is estimated to have spanned 7 to 11 meters, 23 to 36 feet, in length, with Lemonieri and Hoffmanni emerging as the titans, reaching the upper limits of this spectrum. Dwarfing a standard great white shark by 2-fold, Mosasaurus nearly matched the grandeur of a whale shark in scale. Its sturdy, muscular frame further amplified its mass, with an 11-meter specimen weighing in excess of 10 tons, eclipsing the heft of any carnivorous dinosaur, even the formidable T-Rex. Yet, the size of Mosasaurus was anything but consistent, as its fossils reveal a striking diversity, occasionally unveiling gargantuan individuals, with Hoffmanni claiming the lion's share of these behemoths. Among them, a remarkable specimen known as the Pen Mosasaurus commands attention. Though its precise length remains elusive due to fragmentary remains, its colossal skull has led some scholars to propose a staggering 17.1 meters, 56 feet, from snout to tail. Hailed as the largest mosasaurus ever recorded, it may yet have been overshadowed by a lesser-known rival. This contender, identified through skull fragments, specifically a quadrate bone 150% larger than the typical Mosasaurus quadrate, hints at an awe-inspiring length of 18 meters 59 feet and a weight nearing 15 tons. Such proportions place it alongside mighty whales, from sperm whales to exceptionally elongated humpbacks. With this magnitude, Mosasaurus was not merely the dominant predator of its time, but the unrivaled hunter of the entire Cretaceous, cementing its status as the supreme apex predator of its watery realm. But size alone did not inspire dread. Mosasaurus possessed a fearsome, precision-crafted weapon, its jaws. The jaws and skull of Mosasaurus were strikingly oversized compared to its body, encasing a terrifying arsenal of enormous teeth, some surpassing 7.6 centimeters 3 inches in length. These teeth were masterfully engineered for carnage, boasting dual cutting edges and a prismatic form, a design known to bolster tooth strength, enhance slicing precision with fine serrations, and intensify the grip when seizing a hapless prey. Renowned for its devastating bite, Mosasaurus owed its power to a skull structure where the frontal and parietal bones interlocked, creating a fortified cranial architecture braced by robust sutures. This configuration allowed Mosasaurus to endure tremendous pressure and compressive forces while biting, pointing to a bite force of monumental scale, estimated by some to range from 13,000 to 16,000 pounds per square inch, quadrupling the bite strength of a saltwater crocodile. This catastrophic bite, paired with its lethal teeth and immense size, enabled Mosasaurus to vanquish nearly any creature in its domain, fostering a diet of astonishing variety, encompassing bony fish, sharks, squid, birds, turtles, and fellow marine reptiles. Tangible proof of its predatory dominance has surfaced, exemplified by a plesiosaur, a giant sea turtle, marked with deep gashes on its body and shell, perfectly aligned with Mosasaurus' teeth. The sheer scale and depth of these wounds highlight the savage ferocity of Mosasaurus assaults, a fact reinforced by another find, the stomach contents of the predator itself. This specimen, a 75-million-year-old individual, harbored a 1 meter, 3.3-foot fish in its gut, shredded to pieces during the hunt. Furthermore, carbon isotope profiles of these colossal marine lizards suggest that even the largest denizens of the seas were fair game, as their notably low isotope levels point to a diet rich in massive sea turtles and other hefty marine reptiles. The might of Mosasaurus was not its only hallmark as a supreme hunter, for it was also a breathtakingly agile swimmer, driven by its immense tail, the cornerstone of its propulsion. Researchers propose that Mosasaurus glided through the water by swiftly swaying its massive tail from side to side, much like the motion of swift fish such as mackerel. This technique was remarkably efficient, likely propelling Mosasaurus to speeds reaching 48 km/h, 30 miles per hour. Its fins were equally vital, steering its hulking frame with surprising dexterity, their strength derived from powerful muscle attachments. So potent were these fins that high-speed maneuvers could result in injury, as evidenced by numerous specimens with stress fractures in their fins. This extraordinary speed was likely harnessed for ambushes, widely regarded by paleontologists as Mosasaurus's primary hunting strategy. Yet speed was not its sole advantage in these stealth attacks, for Mosasaurus boasted relatively large eyes, with a sclerotic ring dominating the eye socket, suggesting acute binocular vision used to zero in on prey. Conversely, brain case scans indicate that senses like smell were less refined, signaling a heavy dependence on sight. This reliance on vision further confirms Mosasaurus as an active predator rather than a scavenger, as its limited olfactory capabilities would have hindered its ability to locate carrion. Evidently, Mosasaurus was armed with a formidable suite of tools and weapons, a reality countless victims came to know all too well. Shockingly, one creature unable to evade its fury was Mosasaurus itself, as numerous specimens over the years have revealed grievous wounds from battles with their own kind. Some of these clashes were exceptionally brutal, as seen in a specimen with an intact tooth lodged in its lower jaw, just beneath the eye. Though gruesome, this individual was among the fortunate, its bones showing signs of healing, proof it survived the ordeal. Others were less fortunate, as illustrated by a specimen riddled with fractures, lacerations, and punctures across multiple bones, particularly those at the rear of the skull and neck. With no evidence of healing, this individual likely fell to its assailant. Paleontologists suggest these Mosasaurus confrontations may have mirrored the savage duels of modern crocodiles, grappling fiercely with their rival's head. The motives behind these intraspecific clashes remain elusive, but given that many victims were juveniles or smaller individuals, researchers hypothesize cannibalism as a driving force. Astonishingly, predation by fellow Mosasaurus was not the only peril in these internal rivalries, as many survivors were left crippled or plagued by ailments from their wounds. Frequently, injuries spawned deep bacterial infections in the bones, septicemia, necrosis, and unhealed fractures. In some cases, even their vital tails suffered, with injuries leading to abnormal fusions that severely hampered mobility. Yet, in defiance of these adversities, Mosasaurus stood as one of the most triumphant creatures of the Cretaceous era. Its unparalleled success mirrored in its vast global dominion. Fossils reveal its widespread presence across the Atlantic and its interconnected seaways, with notable strongholds in the Western Interior Seaway and the Mediterranean Tethys. Its remains have been unearthed across a breathtaking array of regions, from Canada, Europe, the United States, Turkey, Russia, the Levant, Argentina, Brazil, and the western shores of Africa to the frozen wastes of Antarctica. This extraordinary range highlights Mosasaurus's remarkable adaptability, thriving in environments spanning tropical, subtropical, temperate, and even subpolar climates. Within these diverse habitats, its fossils are predominantly found in areas corresponding to coastal waters, where depths averaged around 50 meters, 160 feet, though rare finds suggest it occasionally dared to plumb the depths of deeper seas when circumstances demanded. The expansive reach of Mosasaurus placed it alongside a dazzling menagerie of creatures, including Prognathodon, Halosaurus, Plioplatycarpus, Platycarpus, Clydastes, Tylosaurus, Globidens, Plesiosaurus, Elasmosaurus, Squalocorax, Cretoxyrhina, Ceratolamna, Sandsharks, Simosuchus, Enchodus, Protospherina, Pachyrhinosaurus, Paleopython, Xeraphornis, Struthiomimus, Terminonaris, Deinosuchus, Protostega, Archelon, Baptornis, Ariops, Halosaurus, Pseudocorax, Scaponorhynchus, Odontaspis, ExtinctZoo, Qualodon, Lyodon, and Kaikaiphelu. The sheer abundance of coexisting mosasaur species has long captivated paleontologists, as many, like Mosasaurus, reigned as apex predators, some approaching its size, though none could rival its grandeur. The most formidable among them included Prognathodon, Tylosaurus, and the Antarctic Kaikaiphelu. To mitigate competition, each species is believed to have carved out distinct dietary niches, as evidenced by the unique designs of their teeth. Yet, clashes among mosasaurs were unavoidable, driven by their sheer numbers, and science has preserved evidence of such conflicts, including a chilling encounter where a smaller Mosasaurus fell victim to a Tylosaurus ambush, its skull shattered in a likely fatal assault. These epic confrontations between such oceanic titans must have been a spectacle of awe-inspiring magnitude, likely a frequent occurrence, as Mosasaurus held sway at the zenith of its power, embodying the pinnacle of evolutionary mastery. But then, in a cataclysmic instant 66 million years ago, it all came to an abrupt end. Until that moment, Mosasaurus had flourished for over 20 million years, with the earliest fossils dated to roughly 82 million years ago. Yet no trait or lethal arsenal could shield it from the catastrophic KT extinction event unleashed by a colossal asteroid. Research into this cataclysm reveals that Mosasaurus populations were ravaged in myriad ways, from the collapse of food webs to devastating tsunamis, the latter known to have wreaked havoc on several specimens. It is thought that, for a fleeting time, Mosasaurus individuals in the open ocean may have endured the asteroid's immediate aftermath, but they too ultimately perished, likely succumbing to starvation, bringing an end to this mighty creature and the last of the great marine reptiles. Remarkably, the KT extinction did not spell doom for all large reptiles, as one lineage persisted, rising to become the most formidable terrestrial predators the world has known since the dinosaurs. The Serpentes. We've just released a video delving into these extraordinary creatures, so explore it if you're eager to discover reptiles with teeth rivaling those of a colossal T-Rex. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Extinct Titans.